My name is Grace Zuniga. I'm the Director of Civic Art here at the Houston Arts Alliance. We thank you for being here with us this evening and for spending some time with us this evening. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We have a PowerPoint presentation. I ask that everybody keep their questions until the end. We'll have a moment for Q&A, and so I'll address any questions that may come up to the entire group. So if you could just write them down. Unfortunately, I'm the only one from the department this evening, and so there will not be anybody moderating the chat. So if you put your question in a chat, I won't be able to get to that till the end. So typically we have people moderating during and answering questions during the presentation, but we don't have that this evening. So if you just want to put your question there, we can get to it at the end. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll get started. We are here today. This is our second info session for the request for qualifications for the Houston Public Works Civilian Employee Memorial. This information session is hosted by the Houston Arts Alliance and specifically the Civic Art Division. We'll go over the City of Houston's Civic Art Program. So overseen by the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs, I'll refer to this department as MOCA for the rest of the presentation. So the Civic Art Program is overseen by MOCA on behalf of the City of Houston. In 1999, a Civic Art Ordinance was established in the City of Houston, which dedicates 1.75% of city-funded construction project budgets to commission or acquire new artworks or conserve existing works that are in the current collection. The current collection has over 800 objects. And so essentially this ordinance, let's say a municipal department, in this instance, Houston Public Works, is building something or is renovating something. Those construction dollars then go to their pool or their pot of money, and those dollars have to be spent specifically to acquire and conserve artworks. So MOCA sets goals, establishes policies and best practices, and develops projects for the program, which are driven by the city's arts and culture plan and are underscored by the values of equity and fair investment fostered by the current administration. The primary objective of the Civic Art Program is to enhance the urban environment through the inclusion of artist design elements in new or renovated municipal facilities with a focus on community responsiveness. All the collecting efforts led by MOCA are informed by the city's vision to create a civic art collection, which truly represents the people and character of the city of Houston. Their goal is to keep in mind the diversity in heritage and culture, as well as subject matter and medium. If you would like to learn more about the program's recent activity and their focus on equity, you can visit www.houstontx.gov/cultural affairs. They just published their fiscal year 2023 annual report and equity report. The Houston Arts Alliance is a local arts and cultural organization. Our work is to implement the City of Houston's vision, values, and goals for its arts, grant making, and civic art investments. Our work is conducted through contracts with the City of Houston and overseen by the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs. So essentially, the Houston Arts Alliance holds 2 contracts with the city, one for grants and one for civic art. We also execute privately funded special projects to meet the needs of the arts community, such as disaster preparation, research on the state of the arts in Houston, and temporary public art projects that energize neighborhoods. So in short, we help artists and nonprofits be bold, productive, and strong. The Civic Art Division specifically, we manage the acquisitions, commissions, and conservation of the city's civic art collection. So on behalf of MOCA, our team facilitates the panels. We work closely with the artists and vendors who are put under contract, and we oversee all of the work and implementation to ensure that projects are on time and within budget. Again, the civic art collection includes more than 800 artworks representing 460 artists, and it contributes to Houston's identity as an exciting cultural center and thriving economy. In 2022, our team, along with MOCA, grew the collection by 163 works of art. Again, the collection has been built on the city's percent for art. So that 1.75% designated in the ordinance is a local law that makes sure that city-funded real estate development goes toward public artwork. Houston Public Works is the sponsoring department. So this is the department where these funds are coming from in order to fund this opportunity or the memorial. And this department's responsibility include the operation and maintenance of city streets and drainage, production and distribution of water, collection and treatment of wastewater, and permitting and regulation of public and private construction. There are over 4,000 dedicated public servants who work together to create a strong foundation for Houston to thrive. And the department serves 671 miles of service area, 2.3 million people, and 1.1 million street names and traffic signs. The project overview. So again, on behalf of Houston Public Works and the City of Houston's Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs, they are requesting the submission of qualifications from artists or artist teams to design, fabricate, and install a memorial honoring those City of Houston employees who have lost their lives in the line of duty. The commission work will memorialize these workers on a permanent site-specific work of public art. The total fee to the artist or artist team will not exceed $165,000. The artwork should be created for the designated location in Buffalo Bayou Park, void of electrical or water features, specifically around the memorial, and developed with the consideration of the flooding nature of the Buffalo Bayou. The address for the artwork location is at Buffalo Bayou Park, located at 1800 Allen Parkway. The artwork, again, will reside at Buffalo Bayou Park, which is operated and maintained by Buffalo Bayou Partnership. It's important to think about the artwork in the park location in the case of natural disasters or emergencies. So this area is prone to flooding, high winds, extreme heat, or freezing. The selected site is located on top of a hill with a high elevation, but materials, durability, engineering, installation, maintenance, etc., needs to be kept in mind due to the inevitable extreme weather fluctuations historically prevalent in this area. The park was designed to flood, and what is installed along these world-class parkland areas will also need to be designed to withstand slow draining flooding. So something to keep in mind for this specific location. I was just going to say, sorry, I kind of stopped, but I was going to say this image and this image are the two images that we currently have. As we move through the process into the request for proposals phase, which I'll get to how the program is structured in its entirety, we do foresee having more information for the artist for the site. So very specific, like elevation drawings, geotech reports, anything that the city does have on this location to help inform the creation of this work. So I'm just throwing that out there as you all are thinking further down the line about the location. So there are project requirements that the artists and the artwork must be upheld to. Artwork should be responsive to the history, culture, and identity of the surrounding community. Artworks must be family friendly, suitable for public display, and free of safety hazards. They must meet or exceed City of Houston ADA requirements. They should be resistant to graffiti and vandalism and require minimal maintenance. They must have an expected lifespan of at least 20 years and make a significant artistic addition to the City of Houston's Civic Art collection. Eligibility. The following are eligible to apply to this opportunity. This opportunity is open to all Houston area artists and artist teams over 18 years of age to work at the required scale and have the availability to accomplish this memorial by the deadline. Houston area artist is defined by the following. If you are currently residing within the greater Houston area in Austin, Brazoria, Chambers, Fort Bend, Galveston, Harris, Liberty, Montgomery, or Waller counties. And the artist and artist team must be able to complete the memorial by early 2025. This is what we currently have listed as our deadline. I will say construction projects typically change, but right now we were looking at an early 2025 completion date. For those gallerists or galleries interested in applying on behalf of artists, galleries submitting applications for more than one artist must submit individual applications for each applicant. So if you have two artists you want to apply on behalf of, you must submit two separate applications. If multiple artists are included on the same application, your submission will be marked ineligible. The following are not eligible to apply. If you are currently under contract for a City of Houston Civic Art Project, specifically Civic Art, you are not eligible to apply. If you have received a grant and have a contract with the Houston Arts Alliance for a grant, an individual grant, or if you signed on behalf of an organization, this eligibility does not apply to you. You can still apply for the Civic Art Project. Any City of Houston employees, elected city officials, any MOCA staff and their immediate family, Houston Arts Alliance employees, board members, advisory board members, and their immediate family. And then we do have a curing process, and all applications that do not meet all eligibility criteria or application requirements are withdrawn for consideration. So the application requirements are such. We ask that artists submit a resume or CV with a maximum of 3 pages, an artist bio with 250 words max or under 2 minutes. So in our application, you have the opportunity to upload video rather than to submit anything in writing. But for the bio, it has to be under that 2-minute time stamp. We are also asked that you upload a statement of intent at 1,000 words max or under 5 minutes. And a statement of intent is a declaration of your plans and ideas for a specific project. They should also communicate your personality, your professionalism, your qualifications, and your enthusiasm for the project. So really, this is your time to explain to the jurors why you should move to the next part of this project, what your tie is to Houston, to the park, to memorials, if you have a history creating memorials, and really just your vision in essence without submitting actual proposals and concepts. We also ask that you submit an artist statement. And so and this is 500 words maximum. There should also be a timestamp for this as well. It just wasn't on here, so you can also upload your artist statement as a video. Your artist statement is a written description of the work that helps the audience access or understand the artistic work. The purpose of a statement is to inform, add context, and present process and conceptual ideas to the viewer, which may include sources, ideas, and materials in the artist's current practice. So I would think about these two things as your statement should give a little more context to the images that you are required to upload. Because you are uploading images of completed works, the statement should support what those works mean, how you made them, what materials you used. And then again, the statement should be a declaration of your plans, or maybe you just completed a previous project that speaks to how you would be able to complete a memorial within this time frame. So the digital images of completed works, you can submit up to 10 images in JPEG format. The submittable platform automatically does not allow you to upload images larger than 2 megabytes. So just think about that as you're saving your images. And then each image within the submittable application allows you to put in information, your artist name, the title of the piece that correlates with the image, the year the artwork was completed, dimensions, material, if the artwork was commissioned by some entity, and a price for your artwork and for each image provided. If you don't have a price, typically artists put not for sale. It doesn't really like change the juror, like if there's a price or not, it doesn't change how the jurors look at the artwork. So just keep that in mind. So we ask that you read the application and requirements for the application very carefully. You should submit all of your requirements for the application via submittable. So if you don't already have, we ask that you access submittable via their website, submittable.com. You need to create an account, which is free. And then you would apply via submittable for this application. And that's where you can find the request for qualifications document and all of the fields and areas in order to submit to this call. Anything that's submitted to HAA that isn't through submittable is automatically ineligible and is withdrawn for consideration. So don't email anybody your images and artist statement. Don't send them via Zendesk if you've been communicating that way. We will only accept the required application documents via submittable. So the selection process is such, and as followed for grants, the Civic Art selection process includes a panel comprised of arts representatives. So right now in this phase of the project, we are in the request for qualifications phase. And so the first panel, there will be 2 panels until we find the selected artist. The first panel will be made up of 3 arts representatives. And this process reviews the artist's qualification and they select a short list of up to 3 artists for this opportunity and each opportunity moving forward. This is just like how the process works. So then those 3 semifinalists will then be moved into the request for proposals phase. And then this part of the process is reviewed by 5 panelists. So you have 3 arts representatives in the request for qualifications process. And then in the request for proposals phase, you have the 3 arts representatives plus a sponsoring department representative and a community representative, which is typically defined by the council district in which the location exists. And so 3 semifinalists will move to the request for proposal stage. They will work under a conceptual design contract, make a proposal, make a design that's specific to this call and to the memorial, and they will present that to the next panel. And this is the final step of the adjudication process. Those 5 panelists will then make a determination and a recommendation, and a single artist or artist team will be recommended by the panel for the winning concept. This recommendation is then passed to various parts of HAA. So the Civic Art Division, we create a recommendation packet. This packet is presented to the Civic Art Committee. They look and make sure that we have done this process with due diligence. They make sure that all of the semifinalists and all of the applicants that were reviewed lived within those boundaries that were set forth in eligibility. They ensure that we did this entire process above board and with fidelity. They are not voting on the selected or recommended artist. That packet then goes to the board of directors at the Houston Arts Alliance, which again just looks at the process and ensures that we did what we say we were doing publicly. And once the process is approved and voted on by those 2 I don't want to call them entities, but those 2 groups within Houston Arts Alliance, we then pass the recommendation to the City of Houston for final acceptance. It is then that the sponsoring department, the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs, and the mayor sign off on the recommended artist. Within this entire process, there's a few contracting arms to this process. One, again, Houston Arts Alliance is under contract with the City of Houston. And then the final commission for this project is broken out into 2 separate contracts. So artists moving into the RFP phase, the semifinalists moving into the RFP phase, are contracted by the Houston Arts Alliance, and they are put under a conceptual design contract. Then the recommending artist or the finalist artist, once approved, moves into two other contracts. One is the final design contract, and one is the construction contract. And so as you move through this process, the applicant who essentially is awarded this commission will sign 3 different contracts with the Houston Arts Alliance. We ask that you all are willing to sign these contracts for conceptual design, final design, and commission. And then the selected artist is required to sign a Visual Arts Rights Act or VERA waiver with the City of Houston. You can view what this waiver looks like on our website. We also have it linked on the digital file of the request for qualifications. Our timeline for this project is such that we are on the second artist info session today. We ask that you get the deadline for questions. We ask that you get them in by Friday, February 2nd. The submission deadline closes Monday, February 5th at 5 p.m. So there's a little bit of wiggle room for those final questions, but we ask that all major questions get sent to us before February 2nd so that we're sure that we reach everybody and can get all questions answered. We tentatively plan, and please note that this project timeline is subject to change. We plan to have the request for qualifications notifications out to all applicants by March 1st. The 3 semifinalists that are selected to move into the request for proposals phase will receive a contract that same day. And then you will have a month to move through the request for proposals phase. You'll have a month to complete your concept. And then tentatively, we're planning that artists present their concept and present their proposal to the panel the week of April 8th through 12th. Again, that process of the Civic Art Committee, the Houston Board of Directors, and the city signing off on the recommended artist takes about a month. And so from the request for proposals presentation, we expect to notify the final artist by May or June of 2024. We will then start working on releasing contracts. So the first contract would be, or the second essentially would be the final design contract. We are estimating that we will release that to the artists in May or June of 2024. That contract is executed, and then we'll move through final design and construction with a completion date of being February or March of 2025. We ask that any questions that you have and are reached by that February 2nd date, that you do not reach out to the City of Houston or the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs. We ask that you submit all questions in writing via email to civicart@hatxhelp.zendesk.com. All questions will be answered as they are received and with 1 to 2 business days. So we try to get to your questions as quickly as possible after we receive them. So that takes us to the end. We ask if you want to sign up for our newsletter or stay in touch via social media. You can scan those QR codes and it'll take you to those pages. So I'm actually going to stop sharing now and open up just open it up for any questions that anybody may have for me.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Pedro, and yeah, I have a question. Like, first, how big are you wanting the sculpture? Like, what's like do we have a size requirement? Like the height, width?
So again, those 2 photos that I showed at the beginning, that's the information that we have currently about the site. Once we get through the request for qualifications process and we have we have the 3 semifinalists who are moving in for the request for proposals, we'll be able to hone in and get that very specific information about what the site can accommodate. There's still a lot of outstanding questions. As you notice, there's an oak tree there, there's that cement pad, which could come up. But at this time, we do not have exact specifications, but that will be information that an artist creating a proposal will absolutely need. And so we have these questions out to the city and we're waiting to get more information. With that, I'll just remind everybody that where we are in the process right now is submitting the work that you have completed to date. It's not necessarily your ideas or proposals for the memorial. And so the work that the panel is looking at right now is previous work that you've completed.
And so you don't want the idea, you just want what we've done?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, so the process is such that right now the request for qualifications, we're asking that artists upload previous works. So then the panel will decipher from those previous works that artists upload, they'll look at to see what you have accomplished in the past. And they will then choose 3 semifinalists to then create an idea and create a proposal. And that's the timeline where you'll have about a month to create that concept and make it visual to present to the panel.
What if I already have an idea? Would you want to see it or no?
So you can absolutely upload images of an idea, but again, if it looks like a sketch or if it looks like something that is like an idea, the panelists are going in with the idea and they're going in with the intention that they are looking at completed works. And so I would, if you have an idea, if it's something that you really want to get out, I would work on that in your statement of intent and say like, you know, as you can see in these 10 images, I have been able to complete X, Y, and Z. These are the projects I've worked on. These are the commissions that I've received. And with my knowledge and with my experience, this is the idea that I would like the chance to produce in the proposal state. So I would just give that bit of like little bit of advice that if you were going to be uploading sketches and ideas, the panelists might think that those are completed works. And so there might be that like disconnection for them.
Okay, thank you.
Kivo or Kevo, sorry if I said your name incorrectly. You have your hand up?
Yeah, my question was it was pretty simple because I kind of missed it. You mentioned that you couldn't apply if you had a grant or something like that, or if you were working with HAA. And I have got one before, but it wasn't this year. I think it was like 2 years ago. What was that about?
So essentially there's 2 contracts with the city. And sorry if there was a misunderstanding or if I misspoke, but essentially if you are under contract right now with the Houston Arts Alliance for a civic art project through our division, you are not eligible. You can apply, but you're not eligible to move forward, right? So
Okay,
like
yeah,
essentially not. If you have received a grant this past year or previously, there's no like you still can apply for this and be eligible. So there's that distinction of if you're under a current contract for a civic art project, you're not eligible to be under 2 contracts.
Okay, I get it. I appreciate it. Thank you for the clarity.
No problem. Any other questions?
Yes, Grace, I have a question here.
Mhm.
The information that you shared that was super clear, and I know some I have received on email. Where could we access that? Because I mean, how you structure and everything was like more clear than I have seen before. So is there a way that we can access that information?
That was in the presentation.
Yes, the one that you share with us.
Yeah, so if you go to our website and go to public art opportunities, we actually have the first artist info session recorded and up on the website. And so you can review that tonight if you want to listen to all this information again. I would actually suggest everybody. I would actually suggest everybody do that because there were some questions from that group that you might find helpful.
And there, in the record, then you show the information share also. Okay.
I will also say that we will get this, this current artist info session is being recorded and we will get that up online tomorrow as well. So if you want to go back and view all this, you're able to.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Well, if there are no other questions, I will just emphasize that if you email the civic art at hatxzendeskhelp.com, I think that's the website. We will try to get back to you within 1 to 2 business days as thoroughly as possible. And then I thank you everybody for your time tonight, and we look forward to seeing your applications. And of course, you know, if you have any questions, just reach out to us and let us know. And we'll try to help you out as best as possible. All right.
Thank you
so much. Have a
Bye.
good evening. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.